It was 6:30 a.m. on a crisp September morning in 2024 when I stepped out of my farmhouse in Willow Creek, Montana, a steaming mug of coffee warming my hands. I was ready to feed the livestock and savor the quiet rhythm of my 50-acre ranch. Instead, I froze mid-step. The air carried the delicate strum of a violin being tuned, and there, smack in the middle of my private pasture where my Angus bulls usually lazed in the dust, stood a cream-colored pavilion. A woman in a flowing velvet robe was shouting, "Where are the burlap runners with the silver lace?" I blinked, half convinced I was still dreaming. But no, there she was, Vanessa, hair in curlers, barefoot, commanding a swarm of vendors like she was the queen of my land. Rows of white chairs fanned out across the grass. A catering truck loomed dangerously close to my water line, and a flower girl twirled, waving at me like I was some nosy neighbor. I hadn't even laced up my boots. This wasn't just a setup. It was a full-blown wedding rehearsal, unfolding on my property without a whisper of permission. Stunned, I shuffled forward, trying to process how someone had transformed my ranch into a bridal magazine overnight. Vanessa finally noticed me, her nose wrinkling like I was crashing her sacred moment. "Oh, you're here," she said, as if I were hired help. "Can you move that old tractor? It's clashing with the boho aesthetic." I stared, speechless, as she spun back to her clipboard, nodding like she was directing a Hollywood premiere. This was my land, my bull's favorite wallowing spot, now a living Pinterest board, all without my consent. Following a tangle of extension cords, I found a generator humming beside my barn. Vanessa's brother, Nate, the self-appointed DJ, was unloading speakers. "Well, I demanded to know who authorized this," he shrugged. Vanessa said it was public land. She cleared it with a neighborhood council. I set him straight. This was private property, deeded to my family for 15 years, taxes paid in my name. He scratched his neck. "Well, Vanessa said she talked to someone. That someone wasn't me." I marched to Vanessa, who was now debating napkin shades with a vendor. "This is my land," I said, voice steady. "You're trespassing. Tear it down." She laughed a sharp, entitled scoff. "Don't be so dramatic. It's one afternoon. The field's just sitting here, and we're almost done setting up. Guests arrive tonight." I told her that wasn't my problem. She rolled her eyes. "You're being selfish. It'll be gorgeous, and you'll thank me." Then I spotted it, a sign at my property's edge reading, "Welcome to Serenity Meadows, a Vanessa Blake event, complete with a logo of interlocking hearts." This wasn't just a wedding. It was a branding empire, and my ranch was her stage. I snapped photos every chair, every cable, every misplaced rose. I warned her I was calling a sheriff. She smirked. "Go ahead. I have a permit. You'll look foolish." When the deputy arrived 30 minutes later, I stood by the pavilion, deed in hand. Vanessa greeted him with crocodile tears, claiming she'd been duped by a shady planner and had no idea the land wasn't approved. She waved a crumpled paper with my name misspelled and a signature that looked like a toddler's scribble. The deputy frowned. "Ma'am, this lacks a county seal, and the address is wrong." Vanessa gasped, feigning betrayal, begging for a few hours since everything's paid for. The deputy asked if I wanted to press charges or issue a warning. I gave her 24 hours, feeling generous. She flashed a syrupy smile. "You won't regret this." But her smirk as the deputy left told me she thought she'd won. That evening, I walked my fence line, watching the sun dip behind the hay bales, now draped in silk ribbons. My bulls, pinned in a back lot, snorted in annoyance. I patted Goliath, my lead bull, and muttered, "Hang tight, big guy. Your time's coming." Vanessa had crossed the wrong rancher. Out here, respect for land, boundaries, and bullsis everything. She'd learned that the hard way. The next morning, I hoped Vanessa might dismantle her setup. Instead, I woke to the scent of eucalyptus, a flute playing something sappy, and yoga mats scattered across my pasture like confetti. Vanessa led a group in sun salutations, chanting about manifesting joy, while a photographer captured her faux serenity. Then I saw it, a new sign, professionally printed, declaring Serenity Meadows Weddings. where love blooms wild. It listed a website and phone number. She wasn't just hosting a wedding. She was launching a venue business on my land. Furious, I grabbed my property records and called my friend Liam, a lawyer with a knack for cutting through nonsense. He laughed at Vanessa's permit, calling it a Word document signed with a crayon. He advised documenting everything, every guest, every post, every trespass. And keep those bulls ready, he added with a grin. Not to loose them, just to remind her they're not props. I strapped on a GoPro and walked the property, recording the generator, the catering van clogging my shed, and porta potties blocking my irrigation ditch. Fairy lights were stapled into my ancient cottonwood tree, and glossy brochures in my mailbox marketed Serenity Meadows with photos of my bulls, captioned, "Our charming mascots." Vanessa had turned my life into her backdrop. I called the neighborhood council president, Tara, who sighed. "Vanessa's my sister-in-law. She's intense, but I didn't approve this. Her permit is fake, and we have no authority over your land." She admitted Vanessa name-dropped her to sound official, but begged me to keep it quiet. Vanessa had allies in county planning. With no council support, I knew I'd have to fight alone. That night, I set up trail cams and posted a sign, "Private Ranch. Bulls on site. Enter at your own risk." I emailed it to Vanessa, copying the sheriff. Her reply was 3 words, "You'll regret this." She wasn't backing down. She saw my land as her destiny. By morning, guests arrived in droves. Women in matching robes posed on hay bales, and a drone filmed my ranch like it was a movie set. Vanessa pranced in a sequin gown, a white stallion trailing her for photos. She acted like she owned it all. But she forgot one thing. This was ranch country, and the land fights back sometimes with horns. Wedding day dawned perfect blue skies, soft clouds, the air thick with jasmine and trampled grass. My pasture was unrecognizable. Tents flanked the barn, garlands draped fences, and chairs led to the pavilion like a royal runway. Vanessa had claimed my land, and her oblivious guests sat on a powder keg. I fed Goliath, Brutus, and Old Duke early, their agitation palpable after days confined. Every speaker blare, every perfume whiff, every child squeal stoked their irritation. I wasn't planning a lawsuit or a showdown. I'd let nature take the reins. As Vanessa made her entrance in a glittering gown, riding a horse-drawn carriage that gouged my grass, the minister began his spiel. I strolled to the side paddock and nudged the gate open out wide, just enough. The bulls didn't need coaxing. Brutus trotted out first, sniffing curiously. Goliath followed, his heavy steps deliberate. Old Duke, the grumpiest, sauntered last, eyeing the chaos. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Are those bulls supposed to be here? Vanessa ignored it, lost in her moment. Then Brutus bumped a chair, toppling it with a crash. A woman screamed. Goliath snorted and lumbered toward the flower arch, toppling it. Chaos erupted. Bridesmaids fled, a groomsman was nudged flat, and Vanessa shrieked, "No, this isn't happening," as she backed into the pavilion. The bulls didn't charge, they reclaimed. Goliath knocked over a speaker, sparking wildly. Brutus sniffed the cake table, sending it crashing. Old Duke dragged a satin runner up the aisle like a prize. Vanessa yelled at me to control your animals, forgetting whose land this was. The DJ played calming music through a fritzing speaker, adding a surreal soundtrack. The carriage horse panicked, snapping its reins and toppling a porta potty in a blue water explosion. Guests scattered heels stuck in mud, champagne buckets overturned. Vanessa, desperate, grabbed Old Duke's halter. He spun, slinging mud onto her gown. She slipped, landing in a puddle, her veil trampled. Her mother gasped like it was a war crime. Phones captured all, and by evening, clips of Vanessa's muddy meltdown, "Stop the bulls, this is my day," went viral, hitting 1 million views with brutal comments, "Should have asked permission." Bulls, 1 Karen, 0. By dusk, the pasture was a wreck of broken chairs and crushed petals. Vanessa, soaked and defeated, fled in a car, leaving her dream in tatters. I locked the gate, the bulls settled, and the air cleared. My land was mine again. But Vanessa wasn't done. 2 days later, she returned with a lawyer and a camera crew, suing for endangerment and emotional sabotage. Her papers were laughable, misspelling my name and citing a rogue cattle invasion. Liam called it a wedding dispute template, but warned she was chasing publicity, not victory. Sure enough, Vanessa posted a tearful video, how my wedding was ruined, claiming I lured her onto my land and sicked the bulls. Comments split, half roasted her, half bought her sob story. Her local support crumbled. Vendors shared stories of bounced checks and threats. The council banned her from events, and Tara resigned, fed up with Vanessa's drama. Her house went up for sale, and she vanished almost. Weeks later, she was spotted filming near my fence, narrating rural redemption for a reality show pitch. I confronted her, and her crew packed up fast. Her final stunt fizzled. With ironclad evidence videos, deeds, her forged permit, I filed a counterclaim for damages. Ruined grass, broken fences, a scorched field. Vanessa skipped court, her lawyer bailed, and I won. She paid up and removed her online posts. The bulls became local legends, spawning T-shirts and horn-shaped cookies. Kids called them wedding bulls. The pasture healed, and I turned the chaos into something good. With proper permits, I started hosting small, respectful weddings, bulls and vows, people called it. Couples loved the authenticity, and the bulls watched from afar. A scrap of Vanessa's gown, caught in my fence, became a marker of where her nonsense ended and my story began. So what do you think? Was I too harsh letting the bulls loose? Or did Vanessa deserve every muddy moment? Should she have faced jail for forging documents? Or was public humiliation enough? And what about her reality show, pitch pathetic or bold? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories. Let's keep this debate raging.